Let's take a look at sharing permissions within our online documents in CMCSS and the best practices for sharing information. I'm in an example Google Doc, and if I click the share button, notice that it's defaulted to restricted. That means that only myself and anyone whose email address I type in can access the document. So this is a great way to share if you have information with student data on it in any format or information that needs to be kept confidential. The best practice is always to use that email option. And most CMCSS addresses will pull up as you begin typing the person's name. For example, if I needed to share with my friend Chris Pugh, I can type in his name and it will populate for me and I can select it and put him in. Notice that from here, I can give him permission as a viewer, commenter, or editor. So if he can only comment on the document, that means that I am not giving him permission to alter it, but just to use the comment feature. And I can even add an expiration date for how long he can do that or edit the document or even view it. In addition, in Google, we have the settings options that allow people we've given permission to change permissions and share. We can also turn that off and on, or we can also allow a person to download our document, print or copy it, or we can also take that permission away by unchecking this. Please note these two features are defaulted on for our district. If you're going to share with a group of people, you can choose between CMCSS and anyone with a link. Let's talk about these two options. If you choose CMCSS, that means that everyone within CMCSS who gets the link can access it. This includes all staff, students, and teachers. So that means you need to make sure that this is not something that has private or restricted information in it, just in case the link is accidentally accessible by someone in our district who does not need permission to see it. Likewise, anyone with a link gives that same permission to anyone on the web. This is the setting you want to use if you're sending home a parent newsletter or something that you need parents to be able to access or members of our community to be able to access. So we've talked about Google, we've talked about those additional settings. What about if you are using our Office 365 online programs and you want to share from Word or other Microsoft Office apps? Well, the sharing permissions are virtually the same. The wording might be just a bit different. So in this case, it defaults to a viewer, not an editor. I can click this link and adjust that to make sure the person can review, which means they can comment or they can edit. I can also, as in Google, choose to block download of this document for anyone working on it or with it. I can also change the permission here. So my permissions options when I share from Microsoft are anyone with a link, which again is great for parents or anyone on the World Wide Web, anyone who's outside of CMCSS if we need them to be able to access it. People in Clarksville Montgomery County School System is just the same as CMCSS and Google. People with existing access is great if you've already added someone by email and they just need a refresher link. They can't find it, for example, in their Office 365, or again, those specific people. If you've chosen specific people, it works just the same and you'll begin typing their email address in. Most CMCSS addresses will pull up as you type them, especially if they're ones you've used before. All right, we hope that you find this very helpful. And if you have any questions about sharing permissions, don't hesitate to reach out to your tech coach for assistance.